ونبئهم عن ضيف إبراهيم إذ دخلوا عليه فقالوا سلاما قال إنا منكم وجلون, and inform them about the guests of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Here the guest refers to the angels who have disguised themselves in human form, and then they have now come as a guest to the house of Ibrahim alayhi salam. And when these angels entered, when they entered upon him, they said, those angels said, Salam alaikum, Salamun, peace. He said, referring to Ibrahim alayhi salam, said, verily we are of you afraid, and you are looking very new and little strange, and we are really afraid of you. They said, the angels replied, revealed their identity and said, they said, not be afraid. Verily, we bear a glad tidings to you of a boy, Alim, who is a learned person, referring to the birth news of Isaac alayhi salam is being referred here. Ismail alayhi salam, sorry, Ismail alayhi salam is being referred here. A boy who is learned. Now, Ibrahim alayhi salam asked this question, which we have seen a little detailedly in Surah Hud, and it's an add-on to that. Here, Ibrahim alayhi salam said, do you give me of a glad tidings? Although has taken me old age, all throughout his young age, he has been mocked at by the people for not having a child, and people who have got married and then who have passed 3 to 4 years can understand the pressure that we will get from the society if there is a delay in the pregnancy. Here, for all through his lifetime, he has faced a stiff challenge and mockery and fun throughout the people for not having a child. And now he has reached the old age, yet again this mockery and fun is going to continue. And that's what he says, has overtaken me old age. Then how come it is possible? Then what about you giving a glad tidings? How it is possible for me to have a child? And now the angels convince him and says, they said, we give you of a glad tidings in truth. This is just a fact. You have to just take it. فَلَا تَكُونُ مِنَ الْقَانِتِينَ, and do not be of those who are despairing, which means do not lose hope in the word of Allah. And Allah has promised, and He will give you. Now, Ibrahim alayhi salam comes back, realizes and says, وَمَا يَقْنَتُ مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ, and whoever despairs or whoever lose hope, and who can lose hope of the mercy of his Lord except the people who are the error ones or the astray ones. Now, Ibrahim alayhi salam takes one step ahead and asks them why you have come specially. That too in a disguised form. It is an unusual method of coming. And he is asking this question to the angels. He said, and what is your business, O the messengers? They said, verily we have been sent to a people who are criminals, referring to the people of Luth. Here they doesn't use the word people of the Luth, but instead they say people who are criminal, which means Ibrahim alayhi salam, who is also living at that point in time, was expecting such a kind of an disaster to come to the people of Luth because of the atrocity and the crime that they were doing on the face of the earth. And the society itself has become completely corrupt. And the criminal people here, by default, it refers to the people of the Luth. And further they say, except the family of the Luth, and verily we will surely save them altogether. Even in that family, his wife will not be accepted because she was also not supporting to the cause of Luth alayhi salam. And we have decreed that she will also be of those who remain behind. Just think of a prophet who will be saved with the believers, but not his wife, because his wife was not supporting and not practicing Islam. Then these angels goes to the house of Luth alayhi salam and says, and when came to the family of Luth alayhi salam, the messengers, referring to the angels, He said, Luth alayhi salam inquires and said, verily you are a people who are unknown to me, look very strange to me. They said, nay, we have come to you with what they were in a disputing, which means they were disputing with regard to the punishment. They were challenging you all these days about whether you can bring a punishment in spite of we doing an utterly bad sin, which no other community had any thrill to do it. And they were disputing, and we have now brought it. And we have come to you with the truth, and verily we are surely truthful ones. So the instruction that is now being given to Luth alayhi salam is, so travel with your family in a portion of a night. And tonight you have to leave the town and follow their backs. And you should not look back. Any one of you should look back around and go where you have been ordered, and go and settle down in some other place, because a rain of stones will be befall on this city on the city. And we conveyed to him that the matter, that the root of all the sins of the people would be cut off by early morning. It must be seen by early morning, the punishment of Allah will come and will came. And now, when this discussion was happening outside, the people, the Luth, who were morally deprived, they were running towards the house of Luth alayhi salam, because they have heard a news that a new guest have arrived. And came the people, the city rejoicing. Mufassirin goes to one step ahead to explain this. This ayat shows the kind of the lowest depth of immorality that was existing. No sooner they got an information that some handsome strangers have reached their town, they rushed to rejoice, to see at them, and to demand Luth alayhi salam to hand over such gifts to them for the gratification of their lust. The pity is that there is not even a single person in the society who is not a part and parcel of this homosexuality. And Luth alayhi salam was afraid of how to save this guest from these criminals, from these villains. That's what he explains this in the next ayat and says, he said, verily these are my guests. Please don't shame me. Don't mistreat them. Don't shame me. And fear Allah. Do not disgrace me. And this is what is a cry that Luth alayhi salam makes. They said, did not we forbid you from the worlds, which means did not we tell you that you should not entertain any new guests, and forbid you from the worlds, which means all these days no other guests were made to allow to see Luth alayhi salam. So we forbid you, which means he was arrested and he was locked inside his home, and he was forbidden to meet anybody else outside his family. And now Luth alayhi salam explains and says, wants to convince them for the last time before the punishment reaches, and says, these are my daughters. If you would, you can do it to them and can lawfully get married to them. And then you can quench your lust. By your life, verily they were their toxication, wandering blindly. Allah says this is an addiction. Today, different parts of the world, and there are countries which promotes the LGBT community, which is by default, it's exactly the same sin that the people of the Luth alayhi salam were doing. And Allah calls them that this practice as an intoxication. It's equivalent to taking an intoxication. And they were wandering blindly. And by this time, when this discussion was happening, seized them an awful cry, Mushrikeen, the sunrise. And all of them were wiped out in the face of the earth, and we made its highest part become lowest, which means we rained upon them the stones of baked clay. It was a punishment that reached them. When the highest and the topmost building on the city was also made low, and Allah, after punishing them, Allah says, Inna fi dhalika la ayatil mutawwisimin. Verily in that are signs for people who are discerned, are people who are trying to ponder, has a lot of signs from the information of the people of the Luth alayhi salam, and verily it is a road which is established, verily in that a sign for surely the believers, which means this city is on a highway, and it's more prominent city on the peninsula, but still it was wiped out from the face of the earth because of the sin that they were doing, and where the companions, and we will continue the other discussion about the other prophets, inshallah, by tomorrow.